the suppression, the use of marijuana.
At the top of the episode, we just wanted to give you a quick warning that this episode discusses themes of sexual violence.
Come on.
You should move the mic towards your face.
It's been 3 years this weekend since Alma and I had our wedding in Indiana.
Mm-hmm. It came up on my Snapchat memories on the 22nd.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
I think it was the 21st.
It was the 21st, yeah.
But we were
And-
all driving back this weekend-ish.
Yeah, and so, but I saw the picture of Sana and I holding your bouquets.
Oh,
I said
nice.
We caught our bouquets.
Sana showed me the picture of you guys watching, I want to say, Schitt's Creek in
Yes.
the car. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but then it was the 22nd, and then I was like, oh man, I missed it.
That's okay. We don't really celebrate it on the
Yeah.
day of. We celebrate it on the legal one,
The courthouse or
Yeah.
the Capitol building one.
wherever we were.
That place.
I don't know directions. I couldn't tell
This
you if that's true or
building
not.
tells me things, and like I don't know the orientation of being in this building whatsoever.
No. I don't even know which direction I'm facing now. TBH.
You're facing south.
Shut up, Ryan. Why did we want you back?
I just know that because you drive south and then you turn.
I never
then
know
you
which
park
direction
facing
I'm
south.
driving unless I'm going down O Street. If I'm going down O Street, I do know if I'm going north or south. No, east or west.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I was
gonna
like,
say,
wait a
No,
minute.
no, I know
That's
which
very
direction.
easy to know whether you're going north and south on O
I know
Street.
if I'm on O Street, if I'm going east or west. Period. Or if I'm like on the interstate, I know where I'm going. In town, no. That's a void. I'm driving and I know how to get to a place and I will go there.
Okay.
Okay.
I still get people trying to tell me directions to places in Lincoln without giving me streets. And I was like, what are
No.
you saying? And they're like, you go this way and go out
No,
of,
I don't.
no,
No, I
tell me
don't.
what street I'm on and what direction I'm going. And they're like, I'm a Gen Z. I don't understand how that operates. And I was like, fix yourself. You're going to die in the apocalypse.
Yeah, Logan's always like, turn here. And I'm like, what street? What street am I turning on?
Because the GPS tells me here, and then I'm like, is this
Is
here?
that here,
And I was
or
like,
is that
here, or is it the
there?
next, or is it the turn in that's 10 feet farther?
Did I miss it? I don't know.
because you just said
You
here.
didn't tell me. Word. Do we want to talk about the book?
Yeah, we can talk about the book.
Yeah.
Oh, quickly before we start, you want to know something exciting?
Yeah.
I met my insurance deductible already.
Oh my
Hey!
God. That's the best. I'm working on it. I am really close. You
I
have
have
chronic
Medicaid.
health conditions.
Yay.
I've been going to the chiropractor since January.
Uh-huh.
For January, I was going 5 days a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then since like mid-February, I've been going 3 times a week. And it's
How's it
just
going?
now starting to like get better.
Get at breathing.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. But that's how I met my deductible.
Yeah, cheers.
And that was
But
that's
now,
pretty great because like all
you
my
can do
meds
whatever
are
you want.
free now.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That's
and then
so nice.
I got my nasal surgery last year after I hit my deductible. That was great. If you got bad allergies, I cannot recommend it more. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, actually, that
Every time-
sounds amazing.
Every time at the store, it's because I had a deviated septum, so I don't know if you have a deviated septum or not. But
I can
every
make
I have a
it.
post-nasal drip all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Literally always.
I'm sorry.
100% of the time.
every time that like everyone at the store is like zombies because they have bad allergies, I'm just like, what? Couldn't be me. I used to live in like a fugue state where I was constantly with like a sinus headache, but no longer. God bless.
Sounds so nice.
Okay, now we can talk.
Now we can talk about the book.
Great. I'm Tia.
That Ryan. Oh, I'm Ryan.
I'm Jamie. We got Ryan
I'm back.
Yay!
I did not read the book.
That's fine.
Surprise!
I'm
You will
just here
be
for
here.
the vibes.
And we love that. We love that you
Yeah.
are here.
But you are picking the book for next month.
Yes.
You are, yes.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Awesome. Well,
Deal.
well then Jamie and I and Ryan just a bit read The Volcano Daughters
Yes,
by
I have it up.
Gina Maria Balibrera.
Ooh.
Oh, and that's the other thing that I'm going to say. I'm going to preface this with I can't roll my tongue. I mean, like I can, but it would be really insanely obnoxious if I did that for like every time I said Graciela's name, because I tried. For the last week, I have been trying to be able to pronounce it properly, and I can't do it.
I give you so much props for still trying.
I'm not gonna pronounce the names with the trill, with like the correct R, because it will sound awful, and I do not want to do disrespect to these people's names. So, just FYI, I am a very white person, and I'm doing my best. I need to buy that book.
I really like the cover.
It's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Thickums. And it's also September 24th. So it's like, that's when we bought it at the library. So it is not that old of a book. Because they try to get them around, like they buy them pretty quick. Oh yeah, August 2024 from Pantheon
Wow.
Books. Yeah. So that's probably why it doesn't have a whole lot out quite
that's
yet.
fair. So we started, I don't know that we had started this before you left. But we've started, like, I will do like the plot summary, and Tia does like the settings, context, fun facts stuff. And just like, information about the country. And what I usually do when I listen to the books is I'm like vibing. I'm like, great. Okay, great. And then afterwards, I sit down and I write out as much of the plot that I can remember. And then I go to like an online summary just to make sure that I like hit all of the big points. There are no online summaries to this freaking book because it just came out like 9 months ago.
This is really useful after having listened to the book.
Oh my God.
It gives you a list of the characters, but instead of putting them in order of when they appear, it's like, these are like the narrators, and these are the mommies that they talk about.
And God, I wish I had this physical book.
Yeah, this was nice to grab from the library. I did not have this until like way after I had started reading it, but definitely recommend for anyone who does decide to pick it up.
Word.
There's the Ocelot.
Is
one of the named characters.
Oh.
I was like, okay.
Oh, I love that. It's so important.
Yeah, well, because I also wanted to look up more about the, what's it called? Wanaba. The one, like, mother that they reference a lot, or, like, Blood Woman. Like, the myths that they reference a lot in the book.
Xibalba?
No, a Wanaba.
Siguanaba.
It's a female, something to do with, like, desire and, like, children and being punished. You know, standard.
As you do.
And I was like, I want to know about that, but this gives you just like that little, hey, this is what they're talking about, and then it makes it easier to like look up more information. So, but we'll get to, fun facts and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is in El Salvador, right?
Yeah. So in El Salvador, it is the smallest country in Central America, or is it just like the Americas? It's tiny.
It's tiny.
Definitely Central America is the littlest one. It's in a little weird part of it. So like beneath Mexico, there's like a little bridge. There's El Salvador is somewhere in that little bridge guy.
Somewhere close to Panama.
Yeah. It's not far off, but it's just so small on the map. Like you really have to like search for it. But the book takes place during the lead up to the Salvadoran Holocaust, which I didn't know about. Crazy.
Me neither.
It's like, we really got to work on teaching Americans world history.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm a fairly educated person, and I still don't know jack squat.
I have a history degree.
Yeah. Like, the historical fiction that we've read so far has really just made me realize how little we are ever taught and told to, like, go and research. So, anyway, the Salvadoran Holocaust ends up being a slaughter of 30,000 in 1932. So just at about the same time as the major Holocaust that we all discuss.
Yep.
And it all stems around pretty much the same stuff.
Yep.
It's mostly what are referred to as indios, so indigenous people, and anyone of color.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much. They just kill a bunch of village people who aren't really doing anything, and that includes, you know, kids, women, handicapped, elderly,
Everybody.
Everyone's just dead. And that was because the dude was crazy.
Yeah.
The dictator, also referred to as El Pendejo,
El Grande Pendejo.
which is hilarious because don't say that on the radio. It is a curse word.
Yes.
But it's really funny because they don't ever name him, and so I didn't pick up the name either because I just
do know the name.
Why do we need to give the names to all the like crappy people? Let's name all the good people.
That's fair.
So I feel like that's why they didn't name him at all in the book, and I appreciate that. But if you want, you can by all means give the name.
The actual dictator at the time was General Maximiliano Hernandez Martinez.
Yeah, he was
He got a long name.
Crazy man.
Crazy.
But also his besties referred to in the book as Los Unais.
Yeah.
The United States.
The United States.
It was Reagan's administration. Shocking.
Wow.
They provided billions of dollars, crazy, to their military in order to murder all the people.
Reagan in the 30s?
It says Reagan's admin provided billions. Because
Reagan was not in the 30s, though.
Okay, well, the page that I was reading up on, so maybe that's something I got completely off. But Reagan faced a lot of heat for providing the money to.
I wonder if it was like after the
maybe
fact.
it was the after.
Oh, that was during the Civil War. So in the 70s.
Okay, so later. So
Yes.
yeah, Reagan administration was still doing crazy shit.
Later. Yeah, so not in.
Oh, right, because the
this
Civil
time.
War is like towards the end. It's still relevant.
It's absolutely
got
still
my-
relevant. I was just like,
I just got my stuff mixed up a
that's
little bit.
okay.
It's all bad.
Anyway.
It's all bad. Just know, tiny country, lots of indigenous people of different colors got just, the shit end of the stick, as always. And that's how
As
we
they
start
do.
this book.
Yeah.
And also continue through the entire book because, of course, it doesn't actually end there.
That is correct. So this is historical fiction / magical realism is what I put for the thing.
I was really hoping the magical realism would help. No, it just solidified this, that this is just crap.
Yeah.
Everything's crap.
So the main characters, there are two sisters that are kind of like the main characters that come out of this, and that's Consuelo and Graciela. And the four narrators are Lourdes, Maria, Cora, and Lucia. And they are all dead. We get to their death eventually, but we do get kind of told at the beginning, like, when we died.
Yeah.
So they are very sassy. They interject a lot during the entire book. So the plot begins with the girls live with their mothers near a volcano in El Salvador. It's just like these mothers who raise them all together. No fathers in the picture. They work on coffee fields and they just take turns caring for the children. Until Consuelo is 4 and Graciela is not born yet.
Not
and
yet.
I don't remember who else is not born yet, but
Maria
maybe.
I think is the youngest.
Yeah. So when Consuelo is 4 years old, her father, who is a general to the crazy dictator man.
Yes, who hasn't gotten...
Who isn't a dictator yet, but he's like on the rise.
Yeah.
Shows up and is like, hey, my actual wife can't have children, so I'm kidnapping my daughter. Thanks. Their mom is distraught, very obviously upset. So she keeps trying to seduce him to make him bring Consuelo back, which doesn't work, but she does get pregnant again with Graciela. And like 10 years later, maybe, I don't remember exactly how long later, but she's like a child now. And Consuelo is a teenager, like sort of an early-ish teenager. Their mom gets a letter that says, hey, the girl's dad died. If you come and pay respects with your second daughter, you can take both girls home. And mom is like, yeah, this isn't a trap. This is legit. So she goes, she brings Graciela, who is 12, I think now, And we find out that the reason that she has been kidnapped is because their dad was BFFs with the soon-to-be dictator. And he was like, oh, I lost my best friend and my best, consultant.
Yeah.
And the only person who can replace him is someone with his bloodline. But Consuelo can't because she's not smart enough. So I bet it's this other girl from a village in the volcano. So he kidnaps Graciela. And now she is a, consort for
his oracle.
His oracle. So sorry. She is the oracle for this man.
Makes it worse.
So that's insane. So for years, she just advises him.
Yeah, she just kind of says,
she does whatever. She's just like, this sounds like something I should say. My favorite one, she leans like, at one point, she like tells him, if you raise the wages for everyone in the country, you'll live longer. You will live 1 extra year for every dollar that you raise the workers. So he does. And he's like, oh, thank you. Oh, thank God. He also, subscribes to this ideology of colors. So like colors have meaning that are not just like, we're like, oh, blue is a calming color and red is a fiery color or whatever. He is like, he believes in those things. So, at some point, I think people were, there was unrest and she was like, just wear blue and everything will be fine. And he's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. He also like drinks the colors.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks that elixirs.
And he thinks that it's just going to like give him either powers or wisdom or whatever.
Drink, my dark-eyed beauty.
Yeah, literally.
It stems from some other white guy that told the father all of this stuff. And then he told the guy who was going to be the general.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, obviously this is a fact because some white guy told me.
Yeah.
And then they just keep going with it.
Now we just trust it, I guess.
And that's how you wind up with a green daughter.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
who can fly.
Which, there are worse people than Elphaba.
Well,
I'd take her. But she advises him all the time and just, he has this whole color thing and she's just like, whatever, I'm just staying alive.
Yeah.
I'm going to say stepmom. It's not really stepmom because they were kidnapped, but the wife of their father. So I'm going to say stepmom because that's easier. It sucks. She's really mean.
Much.
She's the worst. But the two of them, Consuelo and Graciela, are very close now. Mm-hmm. They obviously didn't know each other for like a decade, but they become very close very quickly. And so they have this bond. And after a few years, Consuelo has fallen in love. So she's very young, but she has like a painting instructor that is also very young. And she falls desperately in love with him. So they have like a little romance. But he's also a little bit of a revolutionary. So he does get killed.
Yeah.
She does not take it well. She is disconsolate. Like, absolutely everything is wrong. She is just kind of like a zombie. And mom is like, wow, she's useless. Sells her to the dictator.
Yeah.
Because she's an asshole. Yeah. And so then he rapes her because what else would you do with a child that you were just given? Disgusting man.
Yeah.
But Graciela is like, I know something's going on. She runs away, goes to the palace and gets her out. And she's like, well, we can't go back home because our stepmom sold you. So let's go back to the village. So they run back to their village and they meet all the girls who are still alive at this point, who, we get to see them all again because we know them because they've been narrating this whole thing.
Yeah.
But they get to see them and they have a 1 second of a happy moment.
It's quite literally like a couple hours.
Yeah.
And then
a few hours and then the massacre begins.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason that they needed to run away was because they were told that he was going to do this.
Yeah. So they knew about this plot and they were like, we need to get out because they are people of color. Mm-hmm. And this
regardless of how pale they are in complexion.
Yeah. So Massacre begins. All 4 girls that were left home and all the mothers are killed. Graciela and Consuelo barely survive, but they each think that the other one is dead. Or Graciela doesn't really know where Consuelo ended up because Consuelo wakes up, she sees everybody quote unquote dead.
Yeah, because she was hiding.
Yeah.
She was the only one that found a hiding spot
Yeah.
and actually could hide.
And so she runs away to San Francisco. Graciela wakes up, can't find Consuelo, and she's like, well, I guess she's gone somewhere. Doesn't know if she's dead or alive, doesn't know where she is, but she knows that she's not here. She runs away to Hollywood. And I will say I was very confused. Well, cut that. I'll get into why I was confused earlier. So Consuelo makes nice with one of their stepmom's friends and gets in contact with their stepmom and is like, yeah, well, you know, my stepmom sent me here to study painting. And so obviously stepmom can't be like, oh, actually, I sold her to a dictator. So instead she was like, yeah, that's what I did. So then she pays for her painting classes. So good on you. She like feels very unsatisfied with where she is because she's like, she knows she wants to do art and she tries very hard, but like her painting instructor there like isn't giving her very good notes that she can follow. And so she doesn't feel very fulfilled. She also doesn't really feel like this group of people that she's with is people that she really wants to be with. So she does end up making her way to Paris. She gets married to a pilot.
Yes,
The aviator, who is just like, yeah. And they go to, I can't remember if she marries him before or after they move to Paris.
They're married before.
I think before, yeah. So she meets him. There was like this guy that she was like, wow, this is a super nice guy. I could probably stay and get married to him forever, but I'm going to go marry this aviator because he's going to bring me to Paris and goodbye
Is
forever.
it the Mexican?
The Mexican.
Yeah.
We don't get names for like anybody.
No, which is fair. I don't really care about any of them.
Yeah. So she goes to Paris. At the same time, Graciela is in Hollywood. So she gets across, she gets into Hollywood, and she goes into like a dancing studio or something and meets an actress who is she happens to be the daughter of her stepmom's friend.
Yeah.
And she knew
one.
that, another stepmom's friend, she knew, you know, they had seen her in movies because sometimes the stepmom would bring her to the movies and be like, oh, I know her mom, you know, and so she's like, oh, this is crazy. And they realize, oh, our moms know each other, you know, so she's like, oh, I'm going to take you under my wing. So she helps her get roles. They live together. They have a trashy existence where they are just so wasted all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly. But then,
Fair.
yeah. No, I get it. So then eventually she starts getting bigger and bigger roles. She makes it big, or as big as you can, in the 1940s as an indigenous El Salvadoran.
Yeah.
And Consuelo, who has thought that her sister has been dead this entire time, sees her in a movie in Paris. And she's like, oh my God, that's my sister. It's been like a decade at this point. They have been just, you know, toiling away. And so she sends her a letter immediately and they come into contact again, but they don't meet each other.
Right.
You know, because you're here, there. You notice I said 1940s in Paris. World War II is happening.
Yay.
So Consuelo's husband bails because he sucks. So he goes off. She's just like kind of waiting for him to come home, and she's cheating on him, but like,
But she's like, but he's cheating
he
on
sucks,
me.
and yeah,
so-
he's cheating on her, and this is not great. But he is gone. You know, he has gone on like some sort of trip, and she's like waiting for him to come home. And then at some point, someone is like, "No, he left. He's living in New York now. He left without you." Like right before the Nazis take over Paris. So she bails right before that.
Yeah. In the nick of time.
Right in the nick of time. Meanwhile, back in the United States, in Hollywood, Graciela is on a movie set, and there's like a cop that shows up that she had actually met before. She had seen a woman throw herself off the Hollywood sign, and She like goes through it, but she had, went to the cops about this, and this is the cop that had investigated her, and he's here to grab any undocumented people, and she stabs him.
Yep, she stabs him,
and
which is great.
Runs away.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I put stabs a cop based. Then she gets pregnant with I don't even remember whose baby.
I don't know whose baby it
I don't know
is.
if he has a title or an adjective that we call him, but
Yeah, I can't remember.
she gets pregnant, but he's not involved. And she finds her own group of women just like their moms. So she is pregnant and trying to figure things out. And she just gets like, now they have a group of friends who all work near each other. They all take care
They
of.
live in like a hostel almost type thing.
Yeah. And they are all taking care of each other's babies. It's very cyclical. And then they start a shop. I don't even remember what the shop is for. Is it food? It's like a food shop maybe, or something. Oh, maybe not. I can't remember now. They start a shop. They own a business.
Yeah.
And then back with Consuelo, she is pregnant and loses the baby.
Oh, and it just destroys her.
And she is like trying to figure out what to do because she's in the U.S. again. Maybe San Francisco.
She does, yeah. She's
I think
coming
she's in
back
San Francisco.
Yeah, because she's supposed to go to the Aviator, and then she's like, "What?"
Well, she's there and trying to decide where to go, and then she is like, "I guess I'll go back to my husband."
Yeah.
But then the ghost of Lucia shows up and is like, "Don't do that.
No.
He sucks. Instead, you should go to Graciela, who has left Hollywood after she stabbed a cop. So she is maybe also in San Francisco. I don't remember.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think we end
I
in
think
San
San
Francisco.
Francisco is where everyone ends.
So we get to the book ends. They reconnect, and she starts working at the shop too. And this is all just like a big Auntie Consuelo is home.
Yeah. And then
And that's the book.
like the ending crushed me because I was like, but what if? because they make such a big point of saying we don't know where Socorrito went.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they did find
know.
her just by happenstance,
Yeah, so
wouldn't
that's the mom. Their mom also was missing when Graciela woke up. Consuelo and their mom was gone, but we just
Right.
we never hear anything back about her. I did at the end. I was like, so where's mom?
right.
And like, also, did I miss something? But like, you specifically told me that you couldn't find Consuelo or your mom.
Right. Well, because
So why would you tell me that?
When they showed up at the village, they were like, yeah, your mom's like been off with this gringo. And
Yeah.
we don't know. And she was like getting drunk all the time because she
Yeah.
was distraught about both daughters.
She was not having a good
and
time.
I was like, look, she's probably having a mental breakdown pretty regularly.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's why I was like hoping
I know.
that there would be this like final, like one little connection.
Well, because we end with this like, oh, the family's getting back together. We've got
Right.
Graciela
I
and
was like,
Consuelo
how
here,
crazy would that be?
and the little baby who is not a baby anymore, but like a person, toddler.
Yeah.
But no,
No. They just decide to be like, sorry. And I was like, but what if you just adopted this old woman?
They didn't even say sorry. They didn't even mention her.
Oh, no, just Graciela told the old lady
Oh,
that they
yeah,
ran
yeah,
into.
yeah.
They were like, my bad. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
He doesn't know what he's talking
But
about.
what if he does?
Yeah, but what if he does?
But
Yeah.
anyway.
First impressions.
Yeah, you did at least get a first impression.
Yeah, it's definitely a book that I will finish.
Great. Sorry that we told you the entire plot.
No, that's fine.
Dude, it's still
spoilers
wild.
don't really
Honestly,
bother me.
I don't know if I covered everything. So
Yeah,
there's probably
no.
stuff that I missed.
You covered like the good minimum of it.
That's
but
what I
there's
have. There's so much more.
I have like 9 hours of the audiobook left. It's a 12-hour audiobook, so I'm
Yeah.
like
Cheers.
a quarter through it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, but no, I in the beginning, I didn't get to any parts that were sort of magical realism.
Oh.
Like none of that had happened yet. But from the beginning of the book, I was like, are these real people?
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh,
Because
sure.
I could tell that there was something. I didn't know if they were like the wind.
See,
Oh, yeah.
no,
If it
for
was,
sure.
like, yeah, or if like I didn't know who was narrating it, but I knew that it wasn't a person.
Yeah, absolutely. I also felt that, like, right at the beginning, I was like, okay, so we are a volcano.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay. Which, like, sort of.
Or like
Yeah.
sprites
Yeah.
on a volcano.
Well, and we
Yeah.
kind of get there because it is them, but, you know, Consuelo, when she's in Paris, like, everybody's really interested in, like, the Paris scene. She, like, tells people how she was abducted by a dictator and had to run for her life. And everyone is so bored by that story. And she's like, okay, fine. So she starts making up stuff about living in El Salvador. And she, like, tells them, my mother was the volcano and my sister is the stars, you know, stuff like that. But I was like, oh no, this is actually what I thought this book was.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is a little bit, I mean, that's like why it's called the Volcano Daughters, is because, you know, it is like, well, the mother, but also like attached to the land and also El Salvador in general and whatever. But I was like, oh, this is what I thought the book was.
What book was it that we read where there was the enslaved woman?
Oh, from on the island. That was it was the Liberian book.
Yes.
That one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just
wow,
closed
she
this.
would be king if she were king.
Yes,
there's a king.
She would be king. You had
Yeah.
it.
She would be king. Yeah. That's kind of the vibes that I got from the
Yeah,
beginning of it,
yeah,
'cause
where
it's like the wind is the one
wind-
telling the story.
Yeah.
But it's really all three of these. Well, it's one
yeah.
ghost.
Yeah, it's
Who-
what I like is that it's not so much about like the little magical bits. It's like, no, this is
Yeah.
like their spiritual like world that they're like passing through, and they're like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm gonna show up here and remember everything and like mess around.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, you didn't get there, but later in the book, they appear.
Yeah,
Like these
they,
four
like,
who are dead.
reincarnate.
So Cora shows up as an old lady, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
She shows up and like somebody says like, calls her grandma or something. She's like, I'm not that lady's grandma. But she's like old looking, and Maria shows up as a child.
Yeah.
Eventually gets to be older.
They kind of hit the like Hecate where there's like the maiden, the
Yeah.
Maiden,
crone,
mother,
and
crone.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
they get that.
They
vibe
all
going.
get that.
But there's
going.
four.
But there's four of them. But also Maria shows up as later. She shows up a little older, and they said
Yeah.
that she
She's
was
like a
happier.
teenager.
She was happier when she was in that form. But she also did show up as the child. She like shows up to Consuelo and was like, "Hi, I'm Maria. You met me for 2 hours and then I died. Don't forget that we exist."
Yeah.
And she can't because the dead child showed up.
Yeah.
Also, Maria's gay. That is
Oh,
like,
I love that
Right.
part.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, and it wasn't like, again, it wasn't just like a thing that they threw in. They were like, no, this is her, like, she struggles with
Yeah.
this like whole situation, and it like envelops a lot of her story. And I like that. So one of the things we don't go through with the summary is there is actually a lot of background given to the four girls.
Oh, yes. I do feel bad.
within-
I didn't give a lot to there because it didn't have a lot to do with the streamlined plot,
Yeah.
but we get so much of their personalities.
But it does, like, it helps you when you finally get everyone together and it's like a couple hours of
Yep.
them hanging out. Like, two of them don't even go to sleep. They're just like up partying.
yeah.
And then they're all dead.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and their deaths are very graphic. So just keep that in mind.
Yes.
If you're not prepared for that, it's a little rough because they describe almost in like every frame of it, because it's like her response to the guy, which because it's usually a guy, and then the guy's even response to him like, killing them, and it's like all different people killing different people, but it's just like you feel so much more than just like, oh yeah, so they're dead now, and then we move on to the next part of the story. So
yeah.
it was rough. Pulled in a lot. I was just like, okay, we're here.
Yeah.
But my thoughts were about the first impressions. What were they? I don't know. Probably about the same as you
Yeah.
guys. Like, I was trying to figure out where we were going with this. But I got more wit and sass than I expected, I think.
Oh my God,
Which
yes.
I appreciated a lot.
There are points where the four ghosts are like not interrupting each other, but they're each
kind of.
they're like they each have like a couple lines of being like, oh my god, I hated that guy. That guy sucked. That's fucking ridiculous. You know, and like it's really funny, and they each have their own. And I have heard so many of these narrators from different books.
Oh, really?
And so I recognize tons of their voices.
That's cool.
And they all just like, I was like, oh no, I know who you are.
Yeah.
It was super fun. I liked
There
that.
was there 4 narrators or was there 5?
It was just the 4. It's
4?
just the 4 girls.
Okay, because I know that there's one who does like the whole story and gets interrupted, but I couldn't remember if she actually played one of the ones that like specifically had the name.
Yes,
And that's the
she
one who's
is one
telling.
of them.
Okay.
I think it's either Lourdes or Lucia. Sorry,
yeah, see, that
Lucia
was
is almost middle name.
One of the things that I had a little bit of a difficult time with.
Yeah,
but
I think it's one of the 2 of them.
Sure.
That is the actual like most of it narrator, but then at some point a couple times one of the others takes over and is just doing it for a while.
Hello?
You're like, oh, we've been in a different voice for a while.
Yeah. Which I wasn't upset about.
No, I loved that. I thought it was
Sometimes
super cool.
in books that can be pretty problematic, but like for me I think it kept it still pretty interesting because it was a lot happening.
Yeah. The thing that really confused me was when I was still trying to figure out like what is the plot of this book. And this was before we get kidnapped and go to the Capitol. I mean, like Consuelo has been kidnapped, but Graciela has not. And I'm just like, okay, what are we doing? And so I just wanted like a 1-line summary that was like, this is what this book is about. But like every single one of them was like, this is a story about 2 sisters who go to America. And I was like, wait, back up.
That's not the
I was
story
like
at
halfway
all.
through this book and we are still in the Capitol. And yeah, we have now separated into 2 sisters.
Right.
But like, I'm like halfway through this book now. And I'm like, we're still here. And there's still 6 of us. We are all alive.
Yeah. The
What are we doing?
Summary does not do it justice.
No,
at
so
all.
many. Because like, yeah, we do go to the US and then we also go to Paris.
Yeah.
And also it's most importantly in El Salvador. And they spend like their whole life, you know, because I mean, even at one point, like someone comes up to Graciela and is like, oh, are you Mexican? And she says, no, I'm from El Salvador. And she's like, oh, that's the same thing. And, you know, like the you know, pre-ICE agent, but like basically ICE agent is like, all the Mexicans go over there. And she like doesn't move because she's like, I'm not Mexican.
And then they start cursing at them and calling them wetbacks. And I'm just like, first of it all, that's messed up. Second of all, she's El Salvadoran.
She's El Salvadoran.
Not that justifies anything.
No, but it's
still,
like, get your
come on.
insults correct at least.
It takes so little.
Yeah, no, they don't care enough.
They don't.
They're just racist.
They are just racist.
That was probably the worst part about all of that. I will say, I had a thought, and then I looked at something. God damn it.
That's me all the time.
Every day. Hold on. What were we talking about before the racist stuff?
The fact that it paints it like it's just 2 sisters that go to the U.S. and we don't really talk about the actual plot.
Every summary, and I'm just like, the summary
I know,
is
so many of the summaries.
limited, and I'm just like, you guys,
that's
not
what
happens
here.
That's like the second half, or maybe even the like last third.
Yeah.
Versus the major stuff takes place in everywhere else.
Yeah.
And
it was very, very odd summary choice.
Yeah.
But I will say, I told Tia this on Thursday on the radio. But one of the books that I talked about on the radio on Thursday is so similar to this book in so many ways. So it's called In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez, and it's from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
It's so good. I wildly recommend it. Super depressing, but I do recommend it.
Always. This is our nature.
It is also about sisters who go up against a dictator in a Central American country and have like weird vibes about it. It was just like one of the sisters is like a special interest of the dictator. Don't know why I pronounce it like that. The dictator. And, you know, he like goes after her and tries to get her to sleep with him and all this stuff. And it's like very reminiscent of Consuelo, even though Minerva in that book is like an active revolutionary and Consuelo is a child.
Yeah. She's kind of an
But yeah,
idiot.
I was like listening to this one and I was like, this is very, very reminiscent of that book.
Yeah.
And I wildly recommend that book to everybody, as I did on the radio 3 days ago.
You can go listen to it.
You can
now.
go listen to it at kzum.org. It's up for 2 weeks. But yeah, I was just like, I had already planned to talk about that one this last week. And then I listened to this one and I was like, well, this is just what we're doing.
Yep, we're going to stick with it.
We're just doing Central America family. Although this one is not based off of real people. The Volcano Daughters, is it? I couldn't find anything about who Graciela was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't think the people, like the main characters are like based on real people. But
Yeah.
like there are so many elements
Right.
that are based in fact. And
Yeah,
I found out who a lot of them were.
Right. So it's more like a grain of wheat.
Yes.
Where like this is all a big thing that happened, but we put fictional characters inside. This one, in The Time of the Butterflies, like every single character is a real person. Like the 4 sisters are real people. And their code names during the revolution were the Butterflies. So that's why it's called the Butterflies. It's really good. It will break you a little bit. But
having many thoughts about this book as I was listening to it, and one of them was, what if this is just labeled as historical fiction so that like no one gets in trouble for telling the truth, but it's actually all the truth?
Yeah.
Because there was so much in this that I was like, this could have very much happened. And maybe there are spirits out there trying to get people to know that.
Maybe. Yeah, because they like at some point they like say to Gina. They like say like they're talking to Gina.
Yeah.
So this is like she's taking the legend of what they are telling her.
Right. Because that's also part of it, is that this specific event where they massacred the 30,000 was like glossed over, like on purpose, of course. But it did finally come out that this was what was happening, or had happened. And that's why like they don't have black people.
Yeah.
They used to exist until
Yep.
someone murdered them all. And I read about a father's experience. He was like 10 when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he never talked about it because, you know, you don't talk about traumatic events from your
Sure.
childhood. And the dad finally shared everything, and he had witnessed all of these people being murdered, and they just piled the bodies. They didn't even like, you know, bury them or anything. They just piled them up and just left them there. And so that was just something they lived through if they were able to survive.
Yep.
I'm just like, that's crazy. that was that recent that people would be
Yeah.
able to do that and be like immigrants to the US and be like, oh, why are they coming here? Because we give them money to murder themselves.
No, for real.
Crazy. It's like we cause our own problems.
Oh, oops.
Fascinating. Oh, kind of on the same topic. The refugees, the Afrikaners, reminded me of the last book that we just read. From Eswatini.
When the ground is hard.
When the ground is hard. And I was just like,
Yep.
we're all going to just pretend that they're the ones being genocided. Okay.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
It is all the same thing.
That one was also a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I don't know that you would really care about it as much.
That's fair.
Not that you wouldn't, but like I wouldn't be like, wow, Ryan has to read this book.
Yeah, it's very much like a teen girl coming of age.
Yes.
Heavily invested in the teen girl part. Whereas like
Yes.
this one, obviously they're young women, but like I feel
It
like
was more
their
of like
experiences are more general.
generalized story.
This was like, no, we're teenagers and we're having girl fights and drama,
Yes.
but also being super racist and colorist.
She's definitely not my friend, but they're best friends.
Yeah, it was kind of cringy at points. Although Consuelo in this pissed me off sometimes.
She could be sometimes cringy.
just like, dude, what are you saying? Stop talking.
To be fair, she was raised
By an
super weird,
absolute
TBH.
awful person. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, there's a lot of trauma. So, the surrealist photographer is named Man Ray. This is a real person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a person. Their name is Emanuel Radinsky, but they go by Man Ray.
Fair enough. Easier to say.
All you had to do, okay, so in the story, the like sister narrators are saying like, wasn't he like the one that was from like a small town in Philadelphia, and that's why he feels some type of way about this, and like they would list off all these very specific details, so you could figure out if you Googled it who this person was. So that's how we figured out this was Man Ray, and then they also talked about Mussolini and Hitler.
Yes, they did.
But they didn't say their names until like way later, but they were like hinting at it.
Yeah, they were like, oh, a guy with a mustache in Germany. And I can't remember how they referred to Mussolini, but it was like, yeah.
Guy with a mustache.
In Italy. Yeah.
They were like, yeah, so his like fascist friends were like all cool and stuff until he like couldn't get help from Los Unis, and like they were just being super like bitchy about it.
Super bitchy.
But it
was
was
so
great.
funny.
Also, puchica is like my new favorite word now. It's somewhere in there in relation to fuck. Like you can just fit it into everything, and they said it in every other word, I swear. And that's how I knew that they were like getting emotionally invested in that part of the story. And I was like, this is good. I like this, because I would also be this way if I narrated anything.
100%.
I'd be like, so yeah, this thing happened and blah, 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 facts,
and
details. And then this fucking stupid thing happened with this dumbass man. Yeah. That's the grand...
They've heard the podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously.
For sure.
They knew. That's the realism of it.
Yeah.
They're actually here now and they're going back because they can do that. Apparently, they can just go through time pretty casually. Yeah. The only other thing, I sent you guys the picture, the Costa painting.
Oh, yeah. You sent that before I had started reading, so I forgot to go look back at it.
Oh, sure. It is referenced like super early on in the book, but I can't remember exactly when. But this is a example of it. Yeah. I was trying to see if there was a specific one, but it seems like a bunch of people did these things. Yeah.
So what this was doing, they found this in like the basement or something.
Yeah, like the church basement.
It's like they are showing
chart
you
of all of the people of color.
Yeah.
So this is how you know.
This is how you know who someone is and
who's
what you
better
can call
than
them and who's better. Yeah.
Yeah. Infuriating beyond belief. But I was like, oh, hey, this is actual proof that race didn't matter to anyone until they started doing this crap.
Yep.
And then now it's like a thing that people think is real. It's like, no, look, there's a picture that some person, probably white person, made.
Word.
There's even India and China. Like if you mix an Indian and a Chinese person, but like from India, not an India person. And I'm just like, oh, so we got that specific. Oh, there's Filipinos around here too. I was like, that's me.
Word.
And then there's like, if you mix this mixture with another person, that's what.
Yeah, and like
Jesus
at some
Christ.
point, one of them is like, literally, this means that I should look exactly like so and so, and we don't look anything alike.
Yeah.
Right, because that's not.
Yeah, because she said that she didn't see herself in any of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just absolutely wild. Of course, it's all in Spanish too. So.
Yeah, which I do not speak.
I'm curious what Lobo is, and I hope I'm not saying anything offensive, but I wonder if it's like a specific people. I don't know. It's art teaches you so much about what things people were thinking about, but it's also like, Jesus, guys, maybe I didn't want to know what you were thinking about.
It is a colonial word meaning wolf. That
Right.
was a racial category used to describe mixed race individual, particularly those of Black and Indigenous heritage.
Ooh.
Wow. That is awful. Because lobo is wolf. That's just the word for wolf. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Okay. Awesome. Well, that's a great way to wrap that up. Everyone's racist now. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's all I got. I'm very
I've been trying to
confusion.
think of something to just shock you guys with, something unhinged that I've done. And really the only thing that I can think of is I listened to all of How I Met Your Mother as
Oh,
if it
wow.
were podcasts.
That's crazy of you.
That's a choice.
Yeah, because I needed something that was just noise
Yeah.
while I was working, but I couldn't watch it because I was working. But I cannot work in just complete silence, but I also can't
Oh, God,
listen to
no.
music because if I listen to music, then I sing along and then I don't get work done.
I full on, when I'm working at my real job, I'm blasting music and I don't even recognize, but I'm shrieking the lyrics and I'm just out of it. I don't even notice.
Yeah, I can't do that, unfortunately. I wish I could. But yeah, so I listened to all of How I Met Your Mother as if it were a podcast, and
Fascinating of you.
The series finale of The Handmaid's Tale comes out next week,
Oh, really?
or I guess this week now, as of recording this and release.
Yep.
Whoops. And so I started it from the beginning, and man, it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good TV show, but man, it is rough.
Do you have a book for next month?
Yeah. Shit,
Yep.
we're still doing this.
Y'all,
Yep.
I have already told you what it is. I just don't know that I
I-
ever told you that I was confirming that that's
Okay.
what I'm
What
using.
is it?
So for next month, what day will that come out?
It will come out on the
Tomorrow.
24th.
Sorry. The 24th. Okay, so catch us June 24th, where we will be discussing The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, and that will be taking place in Spain.
Is this a Logan or
It is
No.
not a Logan.
Sorry, Logan. I don't know that you listened to this, but I'm sorry that we can't
Trust
accept
you.
anything from you anymore.
Yeah.
There were so many books that I just see the name and I'm like, oh, I definitely have sold that book.
Yeah. It does take place in 1940s.
Ah.
It's in Barcelona.
Pretty sure the book after that is also not in that same exact time frame, but not great either. We're
Slay.
counting on you, Jamie.
I will do my best to find something not depressing.
Hey,
Oh,
that's hilarious. You should say see you next time. You should.
Oh, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
The suppression of use of marijuana.
This podcast was brought to you in part by KCUN
Yeah, we could say that.
Please tell me you recorded that.
89.3 FM KCUN.
Perfect.